Hey everyone, Joseph Rothschild here with an important PSA. What you're about to watch is a silly video where I play EXODIA in Genesys and clean house. I want to impress this upon you. Do not play this deck. It's not good. It loses to absolutely everything, has a miserable matchup spread, and will be banned to shit on the next points update. At present, it is actively killing Genesys because a bunch of YouTubers have decided to no-life it on the dueling book ladder like the griefer from that South Park World of Warcraft episode. Don't fall for their tricks. Thank you. Good afternoon, Genesys gamers. I'm MBT, and this is 100 Point Playtesting. I mean, you heard the intro. Please use this responsibly. Presenting EXODIA.
EXODIA! Obliterate!
So here's the list, courtesy of Dyer. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Looking for a place to find inspiration for Genesys decks? Well, look no further. I've already spent years telling you about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the best repository of deck lists, strategy articles, third-party assistance with alternate ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, and card collection management on the internet. But right now, it's also the best way to find Genesys lists. You can sort by deck type, filter high-level tournaments to see what's been working, and download decks you see in any format you desire. That's why I'm proud to be sponsored by www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's examine EXODIA. I mean, what do you want me to say about this deck? EXODIA has been a playground win con for as long as there have been playgrounds. By assembling all 5 pieces of the puzzle, you automatically win the game, and you can easily accomplish that feat by just jamming as many dogshit draw spells into your deck as possible. As long as there's a critical mass, then you're able to play as little Yu-Gi-Oh! As possible on your way to a 51% win rate. This deck has technically been legal for a while, but it was kept at bay by that demonic little twink Droll and Lockbird. Now that he's gone, it's got less natural counters. So here we are, patiently awaiting the Maze of Muertos update to put this out to pasture. If I could just make a recommendation, EXODIA is so iconic and does win the game on its own, just put the boy at 100. With that, let's get into the card by card. Now, shockingly, there are some interesting things going on in this deck. First up, the 5 pieces of EXODIA are not particularly surprising, but after that, we've got 3 Dark Lord Ixchel and 1 Dark Lord Googolay. Googolay is a new release which, if sent to the graveyard, can add a Dark Lord card from your deck to your hand. You can add another copy of Ixchel, or you can add a copy of Banishment of the Dark Lords. After that, we've got 3 copies of Surgical Striker Hamp, which checks all the boxes. You can get it off of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, but it can be pitched to trade-in or banished for Allure of Darkness. After that, we've got Toon Dragon for our 3-toon table of contents, and the weirdest card in the deck, Link Apple. This card can be revealed from your hand, banish a face-down random card from your extra deck, then special this card if it was a Link monster. Otherwise, you discard this card, draw a card. Now, the card that you'll be banishing is always the same card, Infernoid Evil, because it's the only extra deck card you can play, but on banish, it adds a Void card from your deck to your hand, which includes Into the Void. That's right, this card is just Pot of Greed with extra steps. For spells, we are of course on Banishment, on Engage, on Toon Table, on Trade-In. 2 Magical Mallet feels like the weakest part of the deck, but sometimes it just happens that you draw a whole bunch of Hamps. 1 copy of Card of Fate, which is the weirdest card in the deck. It just gets you a card. Like, it's sort of Upstart Goblin that has a 1 in 5 of getting the best card in your deck. Pot of Acquisitiveness is in here because sometimes you get into situations where you have to Allure of Darkness your pieces away, which is not ideal. 2 Pot of Greed, 1 Chicken Game, triple Into the Void, triple Allure of Darkness, and triple Upstart Goblin. In the extra, we've got the 3 Evils. And in the side, we've got Lancia's, 1 Dark Eruption, and 1 Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor. This is for monsters that negate spells. Artifact Lancia is for decks that aim to banish as you intend to discard, and Dark Eruption is fake. It's in here as a joke. Do not play it. With that, let's get into the games. Our match is up against Draco Tail, though you'd be forgiven for not knowing it, because I don't think you even figure out by the end of this duel. We're going first, so let me just show you what our deck can do. We're going to begin with a copy of Link Apple. We can activate its effect, we draw a card, and we send an Infernoid Evil, which grabs us Into the Void. From here, we're going to go for Toon Table of Contents. Always good to be getting the cards that get other cards instead of just drawing, so you don't accidentally draw into them. Another thing you want to do is use the single draws before the double draws, because you don't want to accidentally find yourself in a position where you've drawn like 2 copies of a card you only want 1 of, if that makes sense. I screwed screw it up here, but just don't do that. We're going to go for Engage here. We go Hamp, and we draw a card. It's another Engage. I fire off Card of Fate, probably a little early to be doing this in case we get a card like Hamp, which unfortunately for us we do. Still not that big of a deal because there's a third in the deck, and we can fire off the Engage in order to get it. We will do just that, grabbing it and adding a card from our deck to our hand as well, here in Upstart Goblin before firing it off, and then leading with a trade-in. We grab an Allure of Darkness and an Into the Void, and that Magical Mallet is looking spicy, but hopefully we won't need it. We draw the head here, go in for Into the Void, and Pot of Greed should make us home free. We will go for Banishment to the Dark Lord, and Ixchel can pitch this Google. From here, we're going to be drawing 2 cards, and what do you know, that's the last piece of the puzzle. Now that we've assembled all 5 pieces of the Forbidden One, we can watch Omega's animation for the EXODIA win condition. He's just standing there, menacingly. Hit him with the Egyptian Kamiyamama, please. All right, well, looks like we won. So it's time for game 2, and this time our opponent's going first. We will actually get to see them play Yu-Gi-Oh! Here today. They're going to begin with a copy of King of the Swamp, fired off for polymerization, and from here they can polymerization their whole hand away for an Arthalion. They can do this pretty much sure that we aren't going to interrupt them because, you know, obviously we aren't. They're going to activate the effect of Urgula and a whole bunch of Shadows, and of course Arthalion to just cycle everything back, grabbing a Beast to hand and setting a copy of Rahu, I believe. After that, they are going to, of course, activate the effect of Beast to draw a card, then activate the effect of King of the Swamp for another Poly. From here, they are going to go for the Rahu and make a copy of Gulamel. Now, that can contest a card in our deck, the Chicken Game, which does remain on field, so we'll see how they deploy it. They're going to go for a Ketu afterwards. There's Lucius, and then afterwards, they are just going to go ahead and normal summon him. They'll activate the effect for a Labubu, and then after that, they can just go ahead and activate polymerization again. Here, the Labubu for a Secretarion, and they'll set Dracotail Flame, which is a spell negate. Dracotail Sting also banishes from the graveyard, which is less impactful, but does matter to what we're trying to do, so we're going to have to be at least a little bit careful here. Malulu and Urgula for a copy of, the new one, Shaoless, into adding Feimina back to hand. All right, let's see what we can do. That's a good draw. We are going to begin with a copy of Upstart Goblin for Upstart Goblin for Upstart Goblin. We're going to go for Into the Void, and we will fire off Banishment to the Dark Lords next. That enables us to go for Ixchel. As we go for Ixchel, our opponent's going to activate DD Crow in response to the cost, which means we won't get the Google trigger. We're going to go for Chicken Game here. They chain Sting, which triggers Gulamel, which can pop it. And then we'll go for Magical Mallet, which they flame. Okay, thank God. Shields down. Pot of Greed, we are just trying to get out of this, but Pot of Greed and a Pot of Greed might actually do it, despite the fact that our opponent had relevant things to hit us with. 3 Toon Tables of Contents for a trade-in target feels pretty good. Let's go ahead and do that. Drawing a couple of cards, including a Hamp, Pot of Greed, and this is actually pretty scary. 1 and 5 here to just get completely boned, and okay, well, that's the exact opposite of getting boned. That's a +1, which is exactly what we're looking for. We're going to go for the Sky Striker Mobilize Engage here. We draw an Allure of Darkness, and we have a lot of targets for that. We now have 4 pieces in hand. We'll fire off Into the Void, and with 13 cards left in deck, somehow we have cobbled together Exodia. I guess sometimes it pays to be lucky. So we're back with the deck, and okay, yes, I did win through everything imaginable game 2, but I also won with 14 cards left in the deck, so let's just call it a wash. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, boy, does this deck just not give a shit about 70 to 80% of all the cards in the format. You can pretty much ignore your opponent during setup, and then just click yellow button until you win or lose. 2, like it or not, some of the stuff the deck does is cute. Link Apple, the Dark Lords, I mean, it could be a lot more boring. And 3, as much as it pains me to say it, it is really cool to win with Exodia. And the cons. 1, there are a ton of decks with a literal 100-0 matchup against this thing. Handloop Monarch functionally auto-wins against the deck, as does Doomsy. 2, even decks that don't auto-win always have something to do. Fairy decks can just orange light the Ixchel. Single target pops can be used on the Chicken Game. I mean, everyone's got something. And 3, despite the lack of board plans for this deck, people can kind of cobble one together. Lancia turns off a lot of your draw spells. DD Crow on Google cost blanks the ad. Greenlight and Delta are just everywhere. You're asking for trouble if you play this. All in all, don't play this deck, man. What is your problem?